Kanika, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well too. First of all, is there any question that you don't want me to ask you?
No, not so far, but if I think of something, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. I want to start from the beginning. You were
Sure.
diagnosed with an antisocial personality disorder, also known as sociopathy.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So, antisocial personality is essentially it is characterized by a lack of empathy, guilt, and remorse. Um, Sociopath and psychopath aren't medical terms at the moment, but yeah, it's basically a disorder that characterizes a personality that is antisocial in that people with the disorder do not connect socially with people or act in, let's say, appropriate sort of behavior, um, like according to what society says. So they tend to be a little bit more manipulative. They're very, very, very charming, and that's kind of what lures people in.
How would you describe your own personality?
So I'm really bubbly, friendly. In terms of the ASPD, I don't personally feel guilt or remorse. I have very, very minor empathy, but I do think I'm a very compassionate person. I'm very kind to people I know. I'm loyal to my friends. And it's just, I feel like because of a couple of bad eggs, we kind of get just destroyed in the media and said, like, everybody assumes we're abusers or that we're evil and,
Yes,
cunning constantly. So it's kind of like an unfair stigma.
because
And I don't think that should be defined by it.
Because when you Google this, it's easy to find articles that say that people with this disorder can easily manipulate other people's and have no remorse for wrongdoing and no regrets for other people's feelings. So, yeah, that makes you think people with this disorder are like that.
Yes. So the thing is, when it comes to personality disorders, especially this one, there's not much information out there. And basically, anyone who is evil or does horrible things is classified as a sociopath. But in reality, only 1% of the population has antisocial personality. So we're kind of getting the bad rap from everybody based on the actions of other people. So I can understand people being cautious because there is a tendency to be manipulative. But I believe that if you have self-awareness and you do seek therapy to be kind to others and to understand them, that antisocial personality can be very good for you in terms of, just being able to succeed in life.
You've said in one of your videos that you are afraid of becoming an abuser since you have the ability
Yes.
to manipulate other people. Are you really afraid of that? I mean, is that something you cannot control?
I tend to double check like all of my behavior. So if I'm angry at somebody or if I stop talking to somebody, I'm thinking, is this a form of manipulation or abuse? Because I know that a lot of people with this disorder do tend to become abusers because it's so easy to abuse someone when you don't have any empathy or remorse or guilt. So, like, I'm trying to change the way I view situations and people, which, is really difficult. Like, I imagine just you as a neurotypical, imagine going against every fiber in your body to, behave in a way that society has changed. So it's made me quite hesitant to seek help. So I personally, regulate it within myself and, I very, with in terms of my emotions, I try to keep them in check and I try to, not participate in anything that could be considered abusive or controlling.
In that same video, you admit you've done horrible things and you don't have remorse
Yeah.
on them. What do you mean by horrible things?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, but let's just say that when I was younger, I tended to be quite not pleasant because I had no self-awareness. I wasn't diagnosed, and I thought what I was doing was completely normal. But obviously, I was involved with some physical fights. I was involved with, like, you know, attacking others for certain characteristics, and, you know, yeah, I got into a number of altercations. I've hurt many people. I don't necessarily feel remorse for it, but I know that it was incorrect and cruel to carry out any behavior of the sort. I didn't want to hurt people anymore. It goes against my nature, but I'm fighting every instinct to be. So I tried to be as compassionate and loving as I can, so that I don't participate in negative behavior.
Do you like who you are?
I do.
Will you change anything?
What I've changed is the way I respond to people. I try to, because I do have narcissistic personality as well. So usually I'd consider myself the center of the universe and everyone to just be orbiting around me. But I have tried to put more, I've been putting more attention into noticing other people and their needs and desires. This is kind of, I used to not see other people as being on the same level as me. I didn't care terribly much about their problems or issues. But now I'm really involved with some social justice movements. I am in a successful relationship. I have written a book, which is very unlikely for someone with ASPD because we lose attention a lot. And so, yeah, I'm trying to do all of the positive things to offset the bad things I've done in the past.
You were saying that you are in a relationship, and I don't know how to ask this, but how do you feel love? You were saying you don't have remorse on the bad things you can do to other people. So is it difficult for you to love someone?
So I feel like a relationship has nothing to do with empathy or remorse, which I know is debatable because a lot of people have said that this is incorrect. But I personally don't think they're related. In terms of love, I am 100% able to love, although I do view relationships as more transactional than other people do. I feel like other people purposely believe that there's nothing wrong with being that people are generally not transactional in their relationships. People think that there's genuine altruism, and I disagree there. I believe that what goes into a relationship is effort, time, and consideration. So it's like understanding the other person's needs, offering that to them, trying to not make it all about myself. Again, I don't know how neurotypicals love, but for me, I feel love very deeply. I do get attached to some people. It's not often that I do, but if I do, it becomes quite serious. And I do have feelings of happiness, and yeah, I think I'm not sure what the difference would be, but I think generally we do tend to be unlikely to fall in love. But yeah, it's happened to me, so I believe it can happen for others.
You were saying you feel happiness. Are you a happy person?
No, not often. I feel happiness somewhat rarely, and for a small amount of time generally.
Where do you find your happiness?
I'd say my partner, TV shows I like, going out and socializing. I love socializing, and I love my cats very much. They make me really happy. But yeah, it's kind of very shallow happiness, and it does tend to disappear after, a small period of time.
Is it difficult for you to socialize with new people?
No, I'm great meeting new people. I do tend to love bomb. I'm not sure if you've heard that about what love bombing is, but essentially it is bombarding someone with attention. So sending them texts and phone calls and, all that sort of stuff, trying to get them more involved in your life. So that, people do tend to be drawn to me, at least at first. And because I tend to mirror people as well. So often they'll see behavior that they believe to be genuine that is similar to their own, even though it's kind of a facade for me.
Being diagnosed, did it change anything in your life?
I feel like having the diagnoses is very, I guess it's a kind of closure because I finally realized that this is what's going on with me and this is the problem and also part of the solution. So I feel like it hasn't impacted me too badly apart from like public knowledge. That's why I didn't come out as, someone with ASPD because I knew I would get like annihilated in the media, which I did. But I know that there's a lot of people suffering out there who have ASPD and mood disorders. And there's this article, it's called The Hidden Suffering of a Psychopath. So people who are likely to murder or hurt other people, they are profoundly lonely. And this sort of isolation that they're put into kind of pushes them towards these violent acts. So I want to get rid of that. And I think I can only do that while I embrace my actual disorder.
How old were you when you realized that there was something about you that was different from other people?
13, 14.
And what did you notice?
Like I felt like I was on the outside. Like I felt there was a bubble and I was just standing on the outside and I couldn't really access those people inside. And so like it just felt like something was really missing because people would have these strong emotional reactions to things and I would just be standing there. I didn't feel a thing. So I thought there must be something off. This doesn't seem right. Like people have these strong bonds and people are so emotionally affected by the struggles of others, whereas I was just kind of there. I had a like flat effect. I don't like I never really experienced any emotional distress, so I knew that I was different from other people.
What would you say to someone who is feeling identified with what you are describing right now?
I think it's a good idea to be assessed by a psychiatrist because obviously self-diagnosis can be a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a psychiatrist and let them evaluate you over a couple of sessions, you can find out if you do have ASPD, which is very, very unlikely because of how rare the disorder is. But I would recommend if you feel those feelings, definitely go check it out with a doctor.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
I just want to say that people with ASPD are not inherently bad people. That there is a proclivity to violence and antisocial behavior, but put in the right circumstances, they can achieve a lot for humanity, and they have done so. There are so many psychopathic CEOs, doctors, lawyers, and they positively contribute to society. They're not just people in jail for doing a couple of petty crimes. So don't write off someone just because they have ASPD. That can bring a lot of joy to your life as well.
Thank you very much for doing this interview. Thank you for being here. I know, what time is it there right now?
It's 9 a.m.
Okay, it's very early in the morning. Les voy a dejar en la descripción su canal de YouTube y pueden suscribirse a mi canal si llegaron hasta acá en el video. Pueden seguirme en Instagram o en TikTok o cualquier red social, que en todas subo mucho contenido. Así que bueno, gracias por llegar hasta acá. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.